Okay, welcome back to another workout vlog. So if you guys are tuning in to see the Friday posing routine, skip to 19 minutes and 45 seconds if that's all y'all want to see. If not, for the returning viewers, thank you for tuning back in with us for another episode. And those of you who are just now joining us for the first time, we appreciate you stopping by and checking us out. Okay, so I guess tonight what I want to talk about is kind of like suffering and like agony, right? So there's a lot of moments where you're going to feel like you're suffering, whether it's mental or physical, right? Because like if you're on a diet and you're dieting down and you're feeling hunger pains, you're suffering, right? Because no one wants to be hungry. No one's like, ooh, yeah, I'm hungry. I love this feeling. Yeah. But nobody wants to feel that sensation. So there's people out there that, they say eat low volume foods or low calorie foods with high volume. So like eat these big, massive amounts of vegetables, like leafy greens. And then, that will kill the hunger pains. Or whether you're feeling that or you're feeling like suffering through your workouts and being sore and tired and worn out and physically exhausted. Like you're never going to achieve your goal without some kind of suffering. Like it's not like you're going to be in hell, but I mean, you're going to have some type of, agony or some type of like discomfort while you're going through this process.
Yeah. There's always going to be obstacles you're going to come into when training and stuff like that, especially like when it comes to like hunger and just the training in general, like getting to that wall of feeling like this is as far as you can go, but pushing yourself past that and through it and continuing to do that little bit more so you get that little bit extra out of it, that step that others are going to stop at, and you're going to keep going just to be the one that's better off in the end and that one step ahead in the end, stuff kind of like that.
Yeah, and so like I want to talk about the hunger. I want to gear towards that just a little bit here. Like there's people out there that they have really great advice. They eat low calorie foods that are high volume to fill your stomach up. But honestly, I think if you eat foods that are hard to digest, that ferment, it's mainly the ticket to kill hunger pain. So like if you eat something that doesn't cause fermenting in the stomach that's low calories, you're not going to bloat. So the reason why you feel so full after you eat bad food is because normally you get gastro distress and you get intestinal bloating. And that bloating gives you the sensation of being full. And it's a good feeling when you just feel so full you're going to pop. Well, when you eat low gas foods and you eat low gas like things on your diet, you don't get that bloating feeling. So then you feel empty and hollow inside, which makes the hunger more intense. So like if you eat like, I know for me, I was like, I'm going to eat a pound of spinach because there's like only 90 calories in a pound of spinach. And look how much spinach this is. Then that led to me, let me put a little bit of salad dressing. And then let me add a little bit of cheese. And let me add a little bit of, tomatoes. And then let me add a little bit. And next thing I knew, my salad was at like 1,800 calories. And I just kept adding a little bit at a time. And it was like a trigger almost. Like I seemed like it was almost easier for me to just deal with the hunger and not try to eat something that was going to fill me up, because I wasn't satisfied when I was done eating it. I didn't feel any better off than I was. And I just felt like I spent a lot of time chewing something that didn't give me the result that I was looking for. And that was that overwhelming full sensation. Instead, I just started telling myself like, that feeling of hunger is the sensation of your body consuming fat for energy. That you're winning, that you're winning the battle of obesity right now. You're winning the battle of being overweight. Just because you feel hungry doesn't mean that you're dying or starving. It just means that your body is letting you know that it's consuming itself for fuel. And then you're not getting enough calories to sustain the size that you're at. And once I started thinking like that, it changed the way I approached like the hunger pains, because like I found that if I start eating, it just triggers an avalanche of just binging. So that's why I don't like to do that. What is your experience with it?
I don't really have like a binge issue for like snacks and things like that. But again, like I live on my own. Like you have kids and the wife and everything. And you have all kinds of stuff in your home. Mine's fairly bare. But there are certain things like when we were doing those salads and stuff like that, they did continue to gradually increase by us going like, well, we'll just add this, and looking at it as like a little bit at a time wasn't going to be that big of a deal, and then ended up becoming a much bigger deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, like one of the biggest things is like trying to explain, not really explain, but like when people find out that you're like you have a goal or you have a mindset or you're doing something like trying to eat a little bit better, put yourself on more like scheduled meals and stuff like that. And as soon as they find out, that's like nobody wants to do anything with you until they find out that you're not doing what they're doing, and they're like, "Hey, like what's going on here? Like, you're eating meals? What is this? Oh, you only eat them at certain times, and just like certain amounts." It's like, well, like I want to go do this. Like, you want to come? You want some of it? Like, no, I'm good. It's like, well, no, come on, like just no. But like, dude, the chicken sandwiches here are amazing.
Yeah, exactly. I know what you mean. It's almost like they get offended, right? And I never understood that because every single time, I actually made a short about this. Like, it doesn't matter anytime I've ever gone on a diet. It always seems like either a coworker, a friend, a family. Normally, family's the worst about it. They get so offended. Like you just called them ugly and said their children were retarded or something, and it's just kind of like, dude, I'm on a diet, and they give you that look of disgust and disappointment, and they're like, well, you could have at least one meal. It's like, I know I can have a meal, I just don't want to eat that meal. But why? You can enjoy yourself from time to time. I know I can do that. I've had 36 years to do that. Trust me, I get it. I don't look the way I look because I haven't enjoyed myself. I've enjoyed myself plenty over the years, but now I'm trying to get a little strict on myself so that way I can accomplish my goal. And then they just act like you spit in their face, just like, oh, what, you think you're better than me? What, you think that what, you can do something that I can't do, so you're better than me? And they just look so appalled, like you just literally like insulted them. And exactly, then you start getting invited, and then people want to go to the bar, and they want to go out to eat, and it's like, where are y'all for the last 6 months? No one was anywhere, but now all of a sudden it's like you're attracted to me like a magnet. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, everybody's trying to get you to break.
Yeah,
it's like they got a running bet.
Yeah, it's like if I get them to break, it'll be $50. Everyone pitching at $50. What's the pot up to right now? And that's hilarious because, like I said, I've experienced that many times, like over the years. Like it goes without saying, when you start a diet, it always seems like work is going to start catering food. We're bringing pizza today. Hey guys, we got ice cream. Hey, look, we're going to bring snow cones. Hey, we're getting a food truck. Like, seriously, I just started dieting like 3 days ago. We haven't done this in like 9 months, and now y'all want to start doing it?
Yeah, like my job's over here making pancakes on Fridays now.
Yeah, exactly, right? It's just kind of like, what? Was it always here, and I just didn't ever pay attention? But yeah, it's funny how that works, man. But so back to like that brings me back to like the suffering, right? Because like that's a point of suffering for some people that are very social, and they like to go out and be in social gatherings, but some people can't be in social gatherings because a lot of social gatherings, there's drinking and food and temptation. And whenever you're first starting this fitness journey, a lot of times it's easier just to isolate yourself away from those things because, again, trigger foods, trigger situation, trigger environments, and then you ended up breaking, and then the next day you feel way worse about yourself than what you did if you just would have stayed home that night, went to bed, and just stuck to your routine. And I try to tell people, this isn't forever. This isn't till the end of your life, and it's not like you're never going to get to go out and do things again or eat what you want to eat. It's just, if you have a goal, and even if it's just to lose 30 pounds, stick to your goal. Don't lie to yourself. Don't give up on yourself. Like, it's not like, oh, well, okay, here's the word I'm looking for. Disappoint yourself. Don't disappoint yourself. Disappoint your friends and your family. They'll get over it. Hey, come out to eat with us. No, I'm on a diet. I'm going to stick to it. I'm trying to lose 30 pounds. Oh, come on, man. You could come out this one time. And if you go out with them and you break your diet, you're disappointing yourself. And that's the worst disappointment that you can have, at least to me, is whenever you let yourself down. Because you expect your coworkers, your boss, your parents, your family, your friends to let you down and bail out, or no call, no show, or you expect that from them. But you don't expect it from yourself to let yourself down.
Yeah. Just in general, like, there's always going to be someone out there trying to get you to do something when you're in the middle of, like, even tonight, you had some things that came up to kind of not really sidetrack, but you had to take care of while trying to get to the workout and stuff like that. And that's going to happen from time to time, but just trying to keep focused on what you want in the end. Like, the main goal, the main reason why you started doing this in the first place. Like, and staying on that instead of allowing people to come in and like, hey, dude, like, we don't see you no more or whatever. It's like, well, I didn't go anywhere. Like I was still in the same spot freaking a while back, and you weren't coming around, kind of thing. It's like, but now that I'm trying to do something to better myself, or because I want to look a certain way or do a certain thing, Like now you're all freaking acting like I'm the bad guy because I'm not wanting to go do something.
Right, exactly, right. They look at you as if like you're the one who's letting them down, where it's just kind of like, if you loved me or you were like there for me, like you would support me in this, and you wouldn't try to get me to break and get back down to where I was and relapse and go backwards and destroy my health. So, and then then there's the physical aspect of the suffering part, right? Where it comes down to actual physically suffering. So like I tell a lot of people, in the beginning, it's fun and it's exciting and it's a blast, because it's like you're getting newbie gains, you're getting results, you're motivated. And I tell people, motivation, that's to me, there's no such thing as motivation. There's either willpower or there's no willpower, because anyone can be motivated to do anything when they have energy, right? If I give you a shot of cocaine and you get wired up, meth or caffeine or whatever, I could tell you to do anything. And when you have that amount of energy, it's going to sound like a great idea, no matter what it is. It doesn't matter what, if you have energy, anything sounds like a phenomenal idea. So the moment you feel like you're motivated to go to the gym and work out, it's easy, because for whatever reason, you got enough rest, you're not stressed, you've been hydrating, you've been sleeping more. Whatever the cause of you having the energy to feel motivated to go, it's going to deplete very quickly whenever you start going to the gym after 4 or 5 weeks, 3 weeks sometimes. Well, you're sore, you're tired, you're hungry, you're worn out. And the last thing you want to do is go to the gym and be more tired, sore, and worn out. And then you're hungry because you're on a diet. And then all the newbie gains stop in about 6-7 weeks. You stop seeing that dramatic results day to day. You stop seeing that. So now you're like, I'm tired, I'm hungry, I'm sore. I'm not seeing results. And then I have no social life. And I'm physically sore and it hurts all the time. And I'm tired and I'm achy and my joints kind of ache a little bit. But I don't want to do this anymore. And then when that motivation runs out, you're left with nothing but willpower. And then it's the will to continue to push through for suffering. Because like I said, you're going to suffer to an extent. And that suffering comes out on the other end of it is your results. And you have to be willing to go through that pain and that discomfort to be able to get to the other end. Like no agony, no bragony, right? You got to get the agony in to be able to get the bragony in. If you want any kind of bragony, you got to get the agony. It goes hand in hand.
Mm-hmm. That's true. But, yeah. I mean, squirming around again.
Yeah, I know. I know. You can't sit still. You're like ADD when it comes to these voiceovers. He moves around and squirms and stuff like a child sitting there waiting to go play at the park, and he's sitting in the car. Like, not yet. So, but yeah. So, like I said, I mean, there's a certain extent of discomfort you have to go through. And I think that the people that are willing to push harder, like the overtraining concept. So let's touch on that. A lot of people love to cry overtraining, and they're like, oh, you're overtraining. What is overtraining? Like people have all these different, like scientific, like form. You can ask 100 different people what perfect form is, and they'll give you 100 different answers. You ask 100 different people what overtraining is, and they'll give you 100 different answers. Well, overtraining is whenever you work out more than this much. It's when you do this many sets, when you do this many reps. So it's when you do this much intensity. It's when you lift this much. Or it's when you work out this many hours, or when you do this much movement. No one knows the exact amount of what quote unquote overtraining is. Then the people say, well, you can assess what your overtraining is because your grip strength starts to fail. You start feeling fatigued or tired or winded. Okay, well, little tip for you guys. If you're on a deficit in a diet and your deficit's too big and you're working out and you're exhausted and you're losing fat, you're going to feel tired. You're going to feel worn out. You're going to feel beat up regardless. Okay, you can work out 2 days a week, 3 days a week and have more energy and feel more active, and you can feel more like, okay, I'm air quoting here, overtrained. You work out 6 days a week, you push harder, you eat more so you can push more. You're going to feel a little bit more tired and worn out. But it doesn't matter. If you get to a certain point in your fitness goals and your body fat gets to a certain point and you've never been that low before, you're going to feel tired because your body's not used to running on that low of body fat. Your body gets used to having so much body fat, and it has a preferred amount it wants to hold on to all the time. And when you start taking your body past that point, it starts to become uncomfortable, and your body starts trying to slow you down. Like, hey, we're going to make you tired today because we don't want to do this because we don't want to lose this fat. If you keep doing this, we're going to burn up all of our stored fat, and then we're not going to have any backup reserve energy. So it tries to slow you down and make you tired and make you exhausted and make you worn out. No matter what, if you're doing high intensity, anyone that's ever trained for a bodybuilding competition has never said, hey, I feel like I go run 5 miles right now. right now, I can feel like when they're getting in a couple weeks out from their show, everyone, no matter you're doing high intensity, high volume, everyone's worn out. Everyone's tired. Everyone's exhausted. Everyone's fatigued, and everyone's just feeling worn to the ground. It just comes with a territory. So when you say, oh, well, you're overtraining because you feel like this or you feel like that, or maybe you're getting results and your body's just not used to it and it's adapting to the new stress and stimulus and it has to adapt to be able to become better. Like one of the favorite guys I love right now is David Goggins, right? That dude is a beast, right? And then you think about him, then you think about the Navy SEAL mentality. Like, what's overtraining, right? Mm-hmm. What's overtraining? Like where's the line at? Push yourself and see how far you can go until you break, and then you found the line.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a lot of people that say, you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. That's bro science. You're a moron. You don't even understand what's going on. And I've read the research and I've looked at the studies and blah, 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 blah. Well, you don't know how you're going to respond to something until you try it. And you don't know how much endurance you have until you push your body past the point to where it has to change and adapt. No one ever got to be able to do 20 sets on a workout and not be sore by not doing 20 sets. You have to be able to do it to get used to it, to be able to continue to push. You take anyone off the street and put them in the gym, 2 sets of anything, they're going to be sore. But the next time they could do 3 sets and then 4 sets and then add another exercise in, and then 5 and 6 and 7 and 8, then add another exercise in. The next thing you know, they're doing 4 exercises for 4 sets apiece, 16 sets for that body part, and they're not even sore the next day. Well, why is that? Shouldn't they be overtrained and even more sore now than they were before? No, the body adapts. It gets used to it, right? It changes. It accommodates. And this happens with cardio. That's why you take someone who's never run before and they start walking, then they start jogging, then they start running, then they start sprinting. And then the more they do it, the further they can go and the longer they can run. Oh, but that's overtraining. No, you're building endurance. You're conditioning, right? You're conditioning.
Yeah, like take a marathon runner, for instance. Someone that does something like that. Like, so if you're going to say that freaking running a mile is a limit or whatever, like a marathon runner doing like 5Ks, 10Ks, or like triathlon people doing freaking 20-something plus miles or whatever it is, and like just whatever they do for training itself, like in a run. Like that's like where's their limit for being overtrained? Like I pass a lady every morning almost or whatever, and looks like she's a marathon runner because she's always out there in her same pace, same everything, and I always catch her at a different spot. But it ain't nowhere close to home, I don't think.
Yeah, exactly. But, she better be careful because, she might hit that quota on those steps and her body might shut down.
Just going to collapse.
Yeah, just, oh, crap, I hit 15,000 steps. My body just shut down. And like I said, people that want to listen to the science and they don't know what they're doing and they've never done nothing before, listen to the science, right? Like read it, study it. But no matter how much reading and how much studying you do, it's not going to mean nothing if you don't push yourself. Like people want easy results without hard work. People want to go to the gym 3 days a week and sandbag it and they expect to look like Ronnie Coleman or Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's like you can't go to the gym with all the knowledge in the world and not apply it and get anything out of it. And then you don't know what you're capable of until you push yourself. Like someone told me, I eat 530 grams of protein a day, and they told me that's excessive. You don't need that. That's ridiculous. You don't need that much protein. Like there's no way your body's utilizing that. It's like, well, all the greats ate between 500 to 600 grams of protein a day. And then they go, well, they're the exception. Okay, well, how do you know you're not? How do you know you're not the exception? How do you know your body isn't capable of what their body is? Oh, they're on steroids. No. We're not talking about that. We're talking about they ate 500 to 600 grams of protein a day and they worked out 6 days a week and did everything twice a week. How do you know unless you've tried it? And I don't mean for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I mean for years. When's the last time that you worked out 6 days a week for an hour, 2 hours a night, stayed on a strict diet, ate clean food until you were so full you didn't want to eat no more, but it was good calories, so it wasn't bad food, so it wasn't like overly dense calories, and gave it 100% every single time you're in the gym for 6 months to a year? When's the last time you've done that? You don't know what the outliers are until you find the outliers. And people are like, oh, he's a genetic freak. That's why. Well, he's genetically gifted. That's why. Okay, but how do you know you're not if you haven't tried? Well, I did it for 2 weeks. It takes longer than that, right? You have to learn your body. If you try something and it doesn't work, it's not the end of the world. Just change it and figure out what's next. And these people, they want to try something one time and it doesn't work. Then they try something else, it doesn't work. And they try something, now it works. Now they found what their body responds to, And then they want to go around preaching to everybody like it's the gospel. Hey, I found it. This is what works. This is the only thing that works. This is what's going to get you big. This is what's going to get you lose fat. It works. I'm telling you, I've tried everything, but this is the one thing that works. But then you have a group of people over here that's already done that and it doesn't work for them. But this one guy who figured it out that this works for his body is now trying to convince the rest of the world this is the only way to do it. Even though you have a whole group of people over here that's like, we've already tried that and that doesn't work for us. Well, no, but did you try it my way? Yes. Well, you probably did it wrong, right? It's that type of mindset that aggravates you. It's like, why can't you just be happy for someone else who figured it out, right? Hey, I found out what works for my body. I found out what my body type requires. And I found out like what I need for stimulus to get to grow or get in shape. And instead of people being happy and be like, well, what'd you do? I worked out 6 days a week, 3 hours a night, and I worked my tail off. Hey man, that sucks that you had to work that hard and do that much, but that's what it took. At least you did it, right? Yeah, I didn't give up. I figured it out. What'd you do? I worked out 20 minutes a night for 3 nights a week and I blew up. That's great. That's awesome. You're lucky, man. You're lucky. That's all you had to do. That's amazing. You're so freaking lucky. That's all you needed. Why can't you just be happy for people when they figure out what works for them? Even whether it's the hardest way possible or the easiest way. You don't know what your stimulus is until you find it.
Yeah. But like just going back just a little bit, I was thinking about something, like talking about the training and stuff like that, and sort of wondering, like, you know how they have a thing where like they call it like a runner's high?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the dolphins.
But yeah, like, is there an equivalent for like weightlifting, like a weightlifting high?
I'd imagine there has to be.
Like there's a point where, like, because like earlier you were talking about suffering or whatever, and like I'm assuming like with a runner's high, you hit a point of suffering that it just, you feel like you can't go any further, and then you break that threshold, and then it's just, from my understanding from talking to like other people that they experience this thing and they call it a runner's high, and they say it's amazing, and they're just able to keep on going. Like once they hit that point, it's like nothing's around. It's just them and freaking, like they feel like on another level. And there has to be, I would think, something equivalent for like working out, like lifting weights, like a weightlifting high. So like trying to get to that point, like trying to push yourself to that level to find that spot, like that would be interesting.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's people out there that have experience that didn't know what to call it, and they just like they did it and they got there and they're like, oh yeah, that's euphoric, I love it, and they become addicted to it and stuff like that. I'd imagine that there's something along the lines. I don't know if I've ever experienced it or not, but I mean, I've gotten tingly a couple of times before, but I don't know if that's because I was about to black out. But like I've gotten tingly sometimes, and jello-y legs. But I think that's it for me, man. I think that's going to wrap up everything I want to talk about. I know I kind of ran and took over this time and stuff like that. Anything else you want to add to it or say?
No, I think we've said quite a bit today.
Yeah, I think I said I think I rambled quite a bit and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so,
always time for rambling.
Always. So that's it. You're done? Okay. All right. Well, hey, guys, for those of you who tuned in with us again, I really appreciate y'all making it this long in the video and watching all the way through. For those of you who are new to the channel, we really appreciate you guys stopping by and checking us out and everything. And just, I guess my new sign off is going to be, man, hey, no agony, no bragony. Keep grinding, guys.
Yep. Later.